So what I did was I randomly looked at an app for let's say a coin and metal exchange that I bought a few coins at. I guess that this, since I've got records of it, in my phone in the account there, that could be in addition to also my Apple devices and stuff like that that I can still find the registration numbers. I could go over at some point, to the Norfolk police and say, these persons stole this stuff from me. Really, can you get it back, arrest them or something? It might be worth a try if I can, steel myself for the abuse and homosexual crap of these goddamn Norfolk police, the anti-Semitic hate crimes and stuff that they included in. But the point being, even though it's worth, $2,800 or so, the cost, they point out that when I started buying the stuff of my coin collection that I bought from them, my, what did they say, the acquisition cost, so it includes what I paid for them, the markup for using credit card rather than a check, and any postage and handling, is the 1,800 stuff. $1,800. That's a pretty. I off the top of my head, that's like about an extra third or so, or a little bit, something like a quarter to a third of it. So if that were interest, it'd be like something like 25% interest made on that. To understand this, although since I don't have these things anymore, they're stolen by that cunt Audrey and the collusionists of the police and the medicals and the stuff. The point is, that's among the things I guess I could hold out to prove that even though I'm all fucked up now because I had to, live in hotels and eat shitty food and stuff and, be defended and crap, but that and also how I zeroed in immediately knowing that the thing that my mother and I needed most was to fix her refrigerator. And then, later on, and of course, the reason why that it demonstrates my understanding of, money and shit like that is that, originally everybody says, call Abt. So, I called Abt and some asshole on the floor wants to make a commission by A, taking the refrigerator away, B, charging us for it, and then C, replacing something that may not work. So then I found, it was difficult, but I found, some paperwork and figuring it out that my parents did have an actual plan. So I got some guy from something that's dedicated. He came himself in a car with all this shit like on his body. He was like a kind of a muscular fat guy. And I looked into it and said, which of these offices did you come from? Was it Michigan or Indiana? I think that's what it was. He was, of course, from Michigan or something like. And of course, in the course of it, I got a little bit, overly protective and stuff. But the point is that, even though I believe it was that one or another one with one of the plumbers to try to repair the sink in the garbage disposal and toilets and stuff, that he actually, my mom got a little rambunctious. She was like jumping over the chairs and stuff, and granted, I got my mom to pay for it, but that was supposed to be the point. It got kind of noisy because, of course, it's just a coincidence that I felt like talking to my piece of shit iPhone while the traffic was coordinated to go past and make a lot of noise or whatever it was like, or else maybe not. I can't really speak to who's working the traffic controls or if there are even human beings or AIs or what the hell is going on. I do seem to think that once in a while I do think that, all this stuff, it's not so much that God is protecting me. I think maybe some offshoot of some of my relatives or my grandparents' club members in the Freemasons or some shit like that may possibly be looking into this somehow. But I don't qualify for that because, of course, probably they do kind of like, just like I said, this individual at the grocery store down the street here, Gerald. I cut him some slack because his background. Maybe they are cutting me some slack because, of how my unfortunate, human rights violations were prying me and stuff like that. Maybe they possibly, because not unlike the difference between a huge, vast public university that people have to bribe their way into. Apparently, I didn't realize this, that individual who was like arranging these briberies to get at these name universities a few years ago was actually a kid who went to my high school. So I'll take that under advisement. I don't know why I talk like that. Once in a while, my brain wants to legitimize the illegal lawyers all over the place because probably even though they can't do a goddamn thing other than talk and kiss red asses and stuff. Maybe since everything I pay attention to is necessarily fucked up by the lawyers, brought to by the lawyers, without them, without the lawyers and the emergency responders, the jackboot thugs, Big Pharma wouldn't be able to murder so many people efficiently. I guess that's one of looking at it. I don't condone it. I don't think it's a good idea. Nobody asked me my opinion of it. Yes, in fact, that's enough for this video. And I don't like the garbage shot behind there or the aesthetic of, but it's snapshots, random comments. And if indeed I do, a while ago, whatever, I'll come back this if I could ever do a better job of it when I can, either or both, because if you notice during the 4th of July weekend, it's not exactly a normal, beginning of the month, and so probably next month these nags and stuff. Usually these things will go through when the credit cards are able to go, but since hang on, I'm censoring myself. I'm tearing myself to shreds. I just myself doing multiple, like a stutter or an or whatever. Earlier in this video I made this morning about however many minutes it was a random, I said it was a film review. Obviously it was a review of the scene in this movie of that particular song written by Leonard Bernstein, West Side Story, the 2021 reboot of West Side Story. I'm not really commenting on the actual song or the singing. I'm commenting on the visuals that go along with it, which I think is fair game to do. And again, to point out to myself what was glaringly obvious and why I would just go all out or in or hit this part hard about, well, it seems that even though, they ponied up all the money and time to scout locations, to be on location in real life, with buildings and streets and stuff, rather than shooting it in a studio on a sound stage with, scenery and that kind of stuff. The original one, I believe, thinking about it, it was mainly shot like on a soundstage or two with scenery, but it was shot cinematically in that. You see composition in depth, you see your eye being drawn to various things and set up and stuff. The way I'm looking at this one, it is they had all that wonderful street, buildings and streets and angles and stuff, and yet they present it like a goddamn fucking proscenium stage. It's like they got this stuff, these fucking fucked up New York designers or whatever. Well, we've got this wonderful stuff, let's make it go all like from left to right symmetrical, and it looks just like a goddamn stage play to suit the sensibilities of these idiots who think that looks better than an actual motion picture. Maybe they can't make a fucking motion picture anymore, but that's one reason is why. Look at stuff, it's not just the content and all the other crap that goes in to make it sickening and disgusting, but also maybe, if you look at it, maybe this does appeal to the same people down the street in Glencoe whose claim to fame is the Writers Theater, who cannot punctuate the word writers with an apostrophe correctly at the end.